Okay, this should be the last video. So solve the following inequalities. Okay, so when you're solving inequalities, treat them as you would a normal equation. The only difference is that the inequality sign will change direction if you multiply or divide by a negative. So I can already see in A that's going to happen. So take note, and if you think you're going to get confused, make sure you have that bit of information in your bound reference with an example. Okay, so let's start question A. So I'm going to get rid of that 4 by subtracting 4 from both sides. So I'm left with negative x on 3 is greater than or equal to 1 minus 4, which is negative 3. And then I'm going to get rid of this negative 3 by multiplying both sides by negative 3. So that cancels out. So I'm left with x. Now this inequality sign, as I said before, changes direction because we were dividing by a negative 3. Oh, sorry, multiplying by a negative 3. So we've got x is less than or equal to negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. You can always check your answer by substituting that number back into your inequation. So if x is less than or equal to 9, you can choose the number 9 or any number less than 9. So the easiest one would be 0, okay, because it's less than 9. So 4 minus 0 over 3, so 4 minus 0, is that greater than or equal to 1? Is 4 bigger than 1? Yes, it is. So you know you've changed the inequality sign correctly. Okay, so you can always check. All right, let's move on to B. So we've got b minus 5 is less than 5 times b minus 2. In this case, I need to expand that bracket. So I've got 5b. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. That's an inequality sign. It kind of looks like a bracket. Okay, so I'm going to take that b over to the right-hand side by subtracting it. Now, you'll notice that I'm only subtracting. I'm not multiplying or dividing by a negative, so my inequality sign does not change direction. So that disappears. I can also bring that 10 over to the left-hand side, or get rid of it. Okay, so add 10. So we're doing two things in one step. Negative 5 plus 10 is 5. And then 5b minus b is 4b. And then divide both sides by 4. So 5 over 4 has to be less than or equal to b. Now you can leave your answer like that. If you want to change direction, make sure that your inequality sign changes. Okay, so you kind of think of it as your crocodile is eating the b, and then the crocodile is also eating the b. Okay, it's just changed direction. All right, question C. I'm going to get rid of this 2 first by multiplying both sides by 2. So that goes x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 5 times 2 is 10. And subtract 3 from both sides. So that goes, so x is greater than or equal to 10 minus 3, which is 7. All right, the last one. Now I can divide both sides by 2. So you could expand that bracket, but in this case, dividing by 2 is easier. So I've got 4 minus p on the left-hand side, then 10p divided by 2 is 5p on the right-hand side. Now I'm going to get rid of that p by adding p to both sides. So that goes. My inequality sign does not change direction because I was adding a p. 5p plus p is 6p, and then divide both sides by 6. 4 over 6 is the same as 2/3. And if you want, you can write that with p out the front, which is a good habit to get into. Okay, scrolling, question 4. Substitute the given values and solve for the value of t in each of the following. So we've got p is 48, so I'm going to put 48 there. H is 12. Then S Oh, I made a mistake. So that's let's make that S. So that could be 2 plus t. This is because I only changed the numbers from the last sheet and obviously made a mistake. Okay, let's get rid of that 3 first. Multiply both sides by 3. Okay, so that goes 48 times 3. You can do 50 times 3, which is 150, and then subtract 3 times 2. So 150 minus 6 is 144. And then we've got 12, 2 plus t. Divide both sides by 12. Oh, isn't that nice? It's going to work out to 144 divided by 12 is 12. So that goes, and then we're left with 2 plus t. Subtract 2 from both sides. 12 minus 2 is 10. So t is equal to 10. And if you like to write it that way, there we are. All right, the next one, S equals t over m p squared. So hopefully I've got all the right letters there this time. So 32 for S. T is what we're solving for, over m, which is 2, and then p squared. Now you'll notice I added in a multiply because that's what's in between there. And I've put in brackets because p is a negative. And people always forget that when you square a negative, it becomes a positive. And I'll just show you over here. If I had negative 2 squared, that's negative 2 times negative 2, which gives me a positive 4. So in this case, we've got negative p. So negative p times negative p equals p squared, just as 4 was equal to 2 squared. Okay, so, and I wrote p here, so I'm going to rub that out. Can I do that? We use an eraser. There we go. Okay, so 32, let's just clean things up a bit. Negative 4 squared is 16. So we've got t over 2, so it's 16t over 2. Multiply both, I was going to get rid of that 2, but 16 over 2 is 8. So I've got 32 equals 8t. And then I'll get rid of that 8. So t is equal to 4. So what I was going to do before would have still given me the answer. I would have just brought that 2 over, 64, then 64 divided by 16. You still get t equals 4. Just dealing with bigger numbers, which can be annoying. Well, not annoying, but more prone to making errors. Okay, sketch each of the following inequalities on a number line and state the integers included. Okay, so let's just do this quickly. You'd hopefully use a ruler. And there's the number 4. Oh, fancy pen. And 10. I don't think I like that, actually. I didn't realize it was a mix of colors. Okay, so 4 is included. So we have a closed circle. And 10 is also included. So we have a closed circle. And we draw a line going between because we want everything there. Now the integers, whole numbers between 4 and 10, and we want 4 and 10 included. Okay, so 4 to 10. The next one, which I might use my fancy pen again, negative 2 and 1. Okay, so negative 2 is included, so I'll have a closed circle. 1 is also included, so a closed circle. Put a line in between, and the integers included, negative 2, negative 1, 0, and 1. For C, we're going from, let's just stick with this magic pen. No, it's not really magic. Okay, 8 is less than x, so it's an open circle. So 8 isn't included, and 12 is also not included. So when we're doing the integers between 8 and 12, and 8 and 12 aren't included, we've got 9, 10, and 11. All right, question D, we're going from negative 6 to negative Oh, I wrote that around the wrong way. Oh, I hate it when I do that. Yeah, because if x is less than negative 10, okay, I've done an error. We're here and it's an open circle, so x is going here, but x is also greater than negative 6. So, and we wouldn't usually write it like that. That was probably, I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be negative 10 over this side. So let's just redo that one. Let me just see if I can get rid of this. And I'm going to change this to, let's change this to negative 10 and this one to 6. Just had them around the wrong way. Okay. Okay, let's do it again. So negative 10 and negative 6, that's a bit better. Okay, so negative 10, it's a closed circle. Oh, I had an open circle too before. Sorry. Got to focus. Okay, there we go. Negative 10 to negative 6. And our integers, we want to include negative 10, negative 9, negative 8, negative 7. But negative 6 is not included, and there's a round circle representing that. And that's it. Yay!